Okay, now try it.
All right, I got it.
Oh,
Cool.
you got it?
Yep.
Okay.
Share screen. Put it on hold. All right, cool. Can you see it? See
Yep.
my. All right, good. All right, so basically, we call this approach calculated speculation.
It's called what?
Calculated speculation.
Calculated speculation.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And this has been my favorite thing to do, like really since I started trading, not even just price action trading, but investing. So like, I don't know if you're familiar. Have you ever traded penny stocks?
Oh yeah.
And you know about
I
like
started
turnover
out
rate?
trading penny stocks.
Right, me too. And so do you know about like turnover rate and all that good stuff with stock rotation?
No.
All right, so basically, we're gonna touch on just what everything means right here in a second. But basically the stock rotation, or crypto rotation turnover rate, however you want to, put it up to, would be the fully diluted divided by the market cap, and that's going to give you the turnover ratio. And essentially, the higher the ratio, the more you can yield, but also the more that you can lose within a potential, I guess, speculated asset that you may be going to trade for. But the way that we find these opportunities, we first want to go by analyzing and recognizing what the market cap is. So I have like a bracket that I've been using. So basically we'll do huge cap at over 100 billion, large cap from 1 billion to 99 billion, mid cap from 100 million to 999 million, and then micro cap, that would be just less than 100 million, which these two are honestly my personal favorite, the mid to the micro cap, because you can get some pretty good narratives in here and you can always find some efficient pricing in here. As far as what assets you may be looking to, get into. But basically just breaking down how we find these coins, the primary platform that we use is CoinMarketCap. So from here, you're able to see like different categories. I don't know if it loads, give me 1 second. Yeah, so from here, you're able to see like various different cryptocurrencies. They have thousands of cryptocurrencies on here. Are you familiar with this site? Have you ever seen it?
Nah.
All right, cool. So this is where we're going to be finding a majority of our plays. You see, we have categories: DeFi, decentralized finance, NFTs, metaverse, Polkadot chain, BNB chain, Solana chain, the Avalanche ecosystem. So we have like a lot of different tools within this site to go ahead and find different plays with any sector that we're looking for. So this is really where a majority of the magic is going to happen. And then, of course, you can always pull up whatever asset that you may be looking at just to analyze the charts to see if there's a good buy. Like if there's a good buying opportunity on the charts, you'll always be able to do that on TradingView, because the majority of those tokens on there, and especially the ones that we're going to talk about today, are pretty much recognized within TradingView, and that's also a good sign as what asset that you may be or for the asset that you may be looking at. So here we have ranking. And what goes on with the ranking on CoinMarketCap, they're all ranked by the market cap. So you have Bitcoin. Gotcha. Yeah, so you have Bitcoin being number 1, of course, because it has the highest market cap. Ethereum number 2, Tether, that's the stable coin pegged to the dollar. That's the 3rd highest in market cap. And the list goes on and on. But it's all divided by market cap. So that's what the ranking is going to be based off of. The watch list is just how many people are openly involved with the cryptocurrency, whether that be, if they're personally invested in it, or if they just, if they're just watching it. Like it's literally just a watch list. Kind of how we do our assets on TradingView, or whatever you're looking to trade for the week. It's just it's just a watch list. That's it. And we call that the popularity and the open interest gauge. So we just get to see, like, because sometimes you'll see a coin that may be ranked, say, 1,300, but it's on a million watch list. And that's something that you can say, that's kind of funny right there. There may be something bigger behind this coin that the general public isn't hip to yet. And then where we're going to find the narrative at is under tags. So under each coin on that site, you'll find the tags, basically just what the coin is involved in. So Bitcoin being a store of value coin, it's mineable, proof of work, all of these are narratives, they're tags. So they're just really functionalities of what the coin does.
Gotcha.
And basically, like, you'll be able to find your categories here as well. So like, say if we go on Bitcoin and we look at store of value coins, tap on store of value, it pulls up a slew of store of value coins, and the list goes on and on. So this would be the store of value category. If we want to go in here and look at, like, if we think that, store of value may have a strong narrative coming up or in the future or whatever, if we want to invest in that, that's what we'll be able to find that. So let's go
Okay.
to the tokenomics. This is really like the meat of it. Like, this is what matters. So you have market cap, you have the fully diluted market cap, and then you have circulating supply. The max supply comes in handy because basically the max supply is the remaining tokens that are left to be mined. So like Bitcoin, we were touching on it the other day, how they have, I think it's like 3 million or 2 million and some change coins left to be mined.
Right.
So you see it like right here, we have 90% of the circulating supply that has actually been released already. So we only have 10% left to go as far as the releasing of Bitcoin or Bitcoin, Satoshis, however you want to look at it. Let me see. So, this would really be like the key. Like, this is what you want to focus on throughout this lesson, is that the mid to micro caps with a strong narrative is what we're looking for. Few coins left to be released, if any at all. You see Bitcoin, this would be a very efficient coin. Well, if it wasn't Bitcoin, this would be an efficient kind of build of a coin that you would want to invest in. Less than 50 million tokens. The less the better, of course. You can get into some coins that have like thousands of tokens, and those
Yeah.
always pump crazy as well. Of course, the less supply, the easier it is to push up the price. And that's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to hijack the price. We're not trying to invest in the technology, because I mean, these are just, to me, I just look at these as, strictly speculative.
Gotcha.
So we're in and out of these plays. So basically, finding the market cap, like once it comes to sizing up the price, say if you believe that a coin can reach, say, Blocktopia for instance, you see here we have a fully diluted of 4 billion, and then we have a market cap of 168 million. So
Okay.
let's say Blocktopia has been doing a lot of partnerships lately. They're heavily involved into like this new metaverse trend, and it seems like they'll be here for at least the intermediate and I mean the immediate and short term period. So we could see this reaching, I could see Blocktopia potentially reaching a $10 billion market cap. Now, how I would size this coin up would be, like I said, we would take the max supply times the price, and that's what the market cap would need to be. So here on the fully diluted, I would take 10 billion. If I see the coin or potential protocol reaching 10 billion in market cap, I would take 10 billion and I would divide that by how many coins they currently have. And that would give us a potential price of where a Blocktopia may be in the event that, say, Bitcoin pumps. Because none of this is going to be relevant. Like, if Bitcoin isn't doing well, knowing that Bitcoin controls the majority of the market, if Bitcoin isn't doing well, none of this really works. Like, this is just when Bitcoin gets to pumping, and that's when you really want to tap into these, to these certain coins. But
Gotcha.
Blocktopia, basically here you have the fully diluted, which is 23 times the regular market cap that we have. So at any given time, if all the tokens are released, basically actually, do I have my white paper up here? No, the white paper's next. So if all these tokens were to be released today, Blocktopia would lose 23% of its, or 23 times its value. And if basically we were to have some hyper pump event with Bitcoin and everything was to max out, we're going to see Blocktopia at 23 times its value, which would be, I think it's like 43 cent or something like that. But if all the tokens are released, we're going to look at that as, okay, it can, it has a while to kind of retract. And being that the circulating supply here, we have only 4% of the tokens out into existence.
Yeah.
That's not really a good sign for coins that you're trying to flip. Not to mention, it has 200 billion coins, and you kind of want to stay away, from those larger supplies of tokens. Even though it's a great project and everything like that, they have some innovative stuff going on. This is something that you would want to stay away from for the simple fact that they have way too many coins. Like we said, we want to remember that we want to be investing in coins that are less than 50 million within circulating supply. The less
Oh,
than that.
gotcha. Okay.
Now, when it comes to the white paper, this is where you're going to find a majority of the information for a given protocol. So like here, you see we have Ethereum's white paper, and what you're able to find on these white papers, like you see they have a whole lot of stuff that you can just tap into. They have their scripting on here, like their coding, blockchain applications. I'm sure that's probably like their contracting system with the coins that are on Ethereum's network. But
Right.
you can find a lot of stuff within these white papers. But the main things that I like to focus on these white papers is the token release schedules, if they have one, because typically on the days and the quarters that they plan on releasing tokens, you see a decline in the price. There's a natural decline in the price because they're putting more of their supply on the exchange.
Gotcha.
And then you see the roadmaps, which what do they have news wise? Like this is kind of like the Forex Factory, or I forget where you said that you get your news from, but this is kind of like,
Yeah.
this is kind of like that for a given protocol. So you're going to see the dates and the quarters of when news is supposed to drop. So for Ethereum, for example, I believe Ethereum is supposed to drop Ethereum 2.0 sometime in Q2 or Q3 of this year. So we would anticipate that as a potential news event, basically. Maybe a potential selling opportunity given, or maybe even a buying opportunity given the current market conditions. And then you want to look at the features, which would be, so Ethereum 2.0 is going to be a proof of stake protocol. It's switching from proof of work to proof of stake, which I believe is going to be a pretty big narrative for the remainder of the year once that is dropped, because you'll have a lot of people competing with it, just like we had layer twos last year. And then you want to look at the developers and the team. So when you get into the mid cap, especially micro cap, you can have a lot of shady projects that may not have good representation as far as like people behind it. Like it can literally just be a protocol of, and this has happened time and time again. People will release white papers and then they'll make a big social media campaign, and then boom, rug pull, you lose all your money. Like it just happened on, I don't know if you've seen Wonderland protocol, but the head of, I think he was like the head of the treasury, or he was something for Wonderland. He took like $23 billion from the protocol, and everybody lost a substantial amount of money. And that was one of those micro cap plays. It was definitely like, the tokenomics were definitely interesting, but the protocol itself wasn't trustworthy. And if you go on their site, you can actually see they don't have any developers listed. They have no team. So it's kind of like a red flag. Those are the protocols that you want to stay away from. So you always want to make sure that you're aware of these roadmaps, the token release schedules, if they have any, and then the developers is obviously something that we want to shoot for, a team or a protocol with a team. Now, an ideal large cap play, even though I really don't get into these are kind of like the plays that I give my parents, just because they're less volatile in a sense. But like FTX has a strong narrative right now. I know, did you watch the Super Bowl and the commercial, "Don't be like Larry"? Yeah. So I mean, they have a strong narrative right now. They're a centralized exchange, which means they're a direct competitor to Coinbase, Crypto.com, Gate.io, those kind of exchanges, decentralized. They're all basically competing for this market share that is soon to be crypto, this new emerging market share that's soon to be crypto.
Gotcha.
And then you see on FTX, even though we already know it's legit, this is kind of another, I would say like another barrier of safety, like kind of like another safety net when a coin has been audited, because that
Gotcha.
means that they've literally, like they've had a cybersecurity company go through their protocol, see what their motive is, their intentions. It's like it's fact check the company basically when you have
Gotcha.
these audits. Now, some of these tokens and these protocols will have 2, maybe even 3 audits. And I mean, of course, the more the better. But like I said, this is always a good little safety net to have in the place that you're looking for. Now,
Okay.
when it comes to the contracts, I mean, these aren't really relevant, but you're going to see a majority of the tokens on these exchanges are primarily Ethereum contracts, because Ethereum has so much of the market share right now as far as decentralized apps. So a lot of people are making their protocols on top of like the Ethereum chain. You see here on FTX, they made theirs on the Beacon chain, which I haven't done too much research on, but this is their origin of contract.
Okay.
And then you see on the circulating supply, like I said, we're looking for 50 million or less. But this is one of these safer plays, of course. So you see their max supply would be 350 million. Their current circulating supply is 137. I believe that they just got done releasing some coins. But with that strong narrative, this is one of those ideal plays just because of the strong narrative. You know, you're going to have a lot of people using FTX in the future for months, maybe even years to come. So it definitely has a strong narrative as far as like a good, safe, pump. If not a lot of
Gotcha.
action is going on in the market, sometimes I'll switch to these type of plays, but for the most part, I'm looking for those mid to micro cap opportunities, which
Yeah.
here I'm getting to the meat of that. So the ideal market, I mean, mid cap play for me would look something like this, something similar to this. You see, we haven't quite cracked the top 100 in ranking yet, but we are on a lot of people's watch list here. We have 127,000 people interested in this protocol, and it's only been out for, I believe, like 3 or 4 months. Hold on.
Uh-oh. There it is. Right there. Yeah.
Wait, I don't think I have a. Well, I can always pull it up. Hold on.
Wow, $68 and only been out for a couple of months.
$68. It's on, well, and it actually opened at 250. So it's at
Oh
somewhat
wow.
of a, yeah, it's at like a negative ROI right now over the year. But let me see if we can pull up a chart here. And you can find this one on TradingView as well. But if this chart pulls up,
What exchange are you buying your cryptos from?
I'm buying a majority of mine on Gate.io because they have a giant, I would say a giant selection
Okay.
of cryptos to buy. Like if you look on Coinbase is very limited in the options that they give you to buy cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
I haven't used FTX yet. Crypto.com, in my opinion, is better than Coinbase, but for a majority of my plays, I'm going to be buying them on Gate.io. And KuCoin also has a wide selection of plays as well. I don't know if you've heard of KuCoin, but
Nah, I have Binance,
Binance,
Coinbase, and Gemini. So those are the three that I've been using because, like you said, I've been having in the beginning I was having issues finding the coins on one platform, so I would have
right,
to go on another platform to get the coin.
right.
So
How, and I heard that Binance is actually, well, you have Binance US.
yeah,
How are they as far as their selection of coins?
they have what I've been looking for,
Okay.
but overall I'm not sure. Like I said, this really isn't my area, so I'm mostly when I'm looking at crypto, I'm looking at crypto as an investment because I
Right.
I, I spend so much energy on my currency trading that I don't really follow the crypto world like that, but I'm trying to.
Yes, I think it's definitely imperative to at least have your feet in when we are having these giant pumps. You'll see why a little bit later on in the presentation. I have some like just kind of some examples on what's been going on over the last year. But just kind of like just knowing these, like, and it's fairly simple. Like once you get your feet in, you're like, okay, I kind of understand what's going on. Because it took me a while to kind of understand what was going on and the opportunity. But I kind of connected it. Like I said, when I started trading, it was penny stocks. So I connected what I was doing with penny stocks within the crypto market. And it's just like it's a lot more that you can do. To me, I think that the narrative, as far as finding the opportunity, is a lot easier just because this is an emerging market and everything is pumping crazy, especially if you can find those coins that are under like 50 million in supply, like they
Yeah.
always pump crazy. So like this would be a great example here on Moon River. You see we have 3 million coins up and the max supply is only 10 million. So that's the big one. You look at the narrative, we have interoperability, which means that it can basically connect with any chain and any protocol within cryptocurrency, whether that be a finance coin, a metaverse token or a protocol, DeFi, like anything, like it's there. You can use a Moon River coin. And you see we have the Moon River ecosystem. Moon River is actually on Polkadot ecosystem. It was released in the parachains that Polkadot released, I believe in September of last year, which that was a pretty cool protocol that Polkadot had going on. But this is all of the coins that are currently on the contract of Moon River. So like you see here, we have some big ones. We have BNB, we have AVAX, Polygon, DAI, the stable coin, Beefy Finance. This is one of those tokenomic plays. I believe we got in this, I think when it was at like, I think like 1,200, and it shot to like 2,500, either 24 or 2,500 in about the span of like 2 months. And this is all when Bitcoin was at its most recent bottom. Like Bitcoin was chilling and Beefy Finance was just ripping because of the APY. Actually, I'll just click on it. Because of the APY benefits that it has, or the utility, you could even say, the APY, but you also see they only have 72,000 tokens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like this was ripping. Like, I hope that this pulls up. Let me go here. I have it here. Yeah, so if you see here, and you can almost read it like a chart, like you can read it just like your currencies.
Oh,
And in
yeah.
my
Oh, yeah,
opinion, yeah, like in my opinion, I think it's a little bit more easier just because these protocols are just now being released. Let me so you have kind of like less price action to deal with and less manipulation going on. But you see here we had equal highs. This is what gave us the confidence to invest in this. We had equal highs here. And like I said, it was in late December. So you see it was around that 1,200 mark. And we literally broke the equal highs and we rejected from the last point of liquidity that we had up there at 2,600. And I got out of this at like 2,100. I didn't even hold it all the way up until, that 25 point. But it's really just as simple as that, like, being able to make those kind of connections. Okay, this coin doesn't have a lot of tokens. They're primarily going to succeed. Like, I don't know if you know Yearn Finance. Have you seen Yearn Finance?
No,
Yearn Finance is the same, kind of deal. It has 36,000 tokens, but it's kind of like the same deal. It's going to succeed in a bear market because people are going to move their money to it for that limited. Well, I believe people are moving their money to it for the limited coins that they provide, as well as the staking benefits that they provide. So you can make passive income with these protocols. But back on that Moon River ecosystem, you see here we have 25 protocols on the Moon River ecosystem. So it's been growing. I think when Moon River first hit the scene, it was like 5. It was like just AVAX. I think this Magic Internet Money down here, multi-chain, and it was 2 other ones. I can't really remember, but it's definitely a growing ecosystem here. So I think, in my opinion, Moon River is something that I'm looking out for in the event of another pump with Bitcoin. But like we said, has high open interest. The ratio is 3. Basically, we have a 3x ratio here for the turnover rate. And this is something that I could see surpassing. I would say eventually we could surpass probably like 500 on Moon River, just because of the limited amount of tokens that we have. We have a lot of liquidity coming into this space. And I look at it similar to like an AVAX. or like a Solana. Like
Okay.
so
I,
it's
I know Solana.
yeah, so I mean it's just layer two. Like it's like a layer two solution, but it's interoperable, meaning that of course, it can incorporate itself within various protocols. So that's always something that I've kind of valued within this space. And I don't think that they've had a lot of time to shine just because the majority of the interoperability coins have been released over Bitcoin, taking this massive, shift to the downside that it currently is taking. But the ideal microcap play, you can actually find this one on crypto.com. The ideal microcap play would be something like this. Harvest Finance. So you see here, the market cap is only 63 million right now. We have a total value locked of 236 million. So we have more money locked within this protocol than the protocol is actually worth.
Huh.
So something like this would definitely pique my interest here. We've been holding this for a little minute. I actually just got a chance to get back into Harvest Finance. But if you look at the chart here, you can kind of see what we were looking at, on that beefy finance going. It's kind of the same, narrative here. We have these equal highs that can be taken out. We're in a negative ROI. So I think that this definitely has some room to run. And then we also have that supply. So the supply, we have less than 1 million tokens. This is definitely something that we want to keep an eye out for. And then the narrative here, like we said, yield farming, being able to stake those coins and make a passive return. The yield aggregator, basically the same thing. But basically, just a very interesting protocol. And like we said, it's lame right now. So it's down. This is definitely, in my opinion, a point of accumulation here. If you believe that Bitcoin is going up in the near to short term, I think that this would be a pretty good point of accumulation. We're at only 99, or I think currently it's at like 96. Well, it doesn't matter. We don't got to get into the specifics. I think currently it's at like $96. It's less than 100, but definitely a good buying point. This opened up at, I think, like 1,000. It was either at like 1,000 or 1,500. The high on this coin is 2,200. So right now we're at a significant discount for this particular protocol. Now, like we said, the plays to avoid would be Cardano. You want to stay away from Cardano at all costs. This is like an ongoing joke within the crypto community.
For real?
Yeah, I wouldn't invest in Cardano if you're trying to make money. I can't really speak to the narrative is proof of stake, so it's definitely going to be a valuable narrative with Ethereum launching that 2.0 protocol. So I think it'll definitely be a pretty cool narrative. But like on Cardano alone, you got to think. Let's see, if Cardano is ever to see $10, which would just be a humble 10x from this point. If Cardano's ever to see just 10, let me see, 42 billion times $10. Oh wait, no, it'll be divided. 42 billion divided by 10. So if Cardano was ever to see a $10 price point, it would need to be at almost $4.5 trillion in market cap.
Yeah.
And that's larger than the entire crypto space. So it's like very highly unlikely at this point in the game that you're going to see a 10x from something like Cardano. Especially if they have 25% of their coins that they can still release. This is something that you want to stay away from. XRP, same way. XLM, that's the Stellar protocol, same way. I mean, it's nothing against the protocol and what they're trying to do, but if you're trying to make money, like you don't really want to be involved in these tokens. So basically in crypto, I'm sure that you've seen we have altcoin phases and somewhat of like a mania phase towards the end of the crypto cycle before the next Bitcoin halving. So basically this is Ethereum versus Bitcoin, which has been a pretty good gauge on when altcoin season is, or when we're in altcoin season a distribution phase versus an accumulation phase on these altcoins. Because like I said, Ethereum dominates the altcoin market, being the most highly speculated altcoin. It dominates the market, so everything is following Ethereum and Bitcoin. It's kind of how we have to start looking at the crypto market. So
Right, right.
looking at the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart, you can find this on TradingView as well, but looking at the Ethereum versus the Bitcoin chart, you see we had this point of accumulation here. This is, I believe, right before the mania phase hit in 2018, early 2018. This is right before that mania phase hit. And you can kind of see somewhat of a similarity as far as how they trended prior to that altcoin phase or that altcoin mania. And something that we've also seen within this space is that you have lengthening cycles. So like Bitcoin to go crazy, and everybody, well, I won't say everybody, but you'll have people that have made money off of Bitcoin going crazy, start to alternate their money into altcoins. So they'll start rotating their money into altcoins. And that is what I believe causes, these phases, these mania phases. And then now you have to think about that basically the whole globe is looking at not only Bitcoin, but crypto in general, whether that be a solution to their economic conditions, or if they believe it's the future, or NFTs, metaverse, like everybody's looking at Bitcoin or cryptocurrency right now. So I would anticipate that this mania phase coming would be larger than what we've seen in the past. And you can see here kind of just how we've been trending up. First, back in 2017, it was rather quick, swift, kind of straight to the point. I think that this could be a longer journey to that mania phase, but I do think that it's coming. It's just like a matter of when, my personal opinion. And then total market cap, you can look at, if you want to look at the entire crypto space, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, you can always go to total 3 on TradingView, and this kind of gives you a good general health of the I'll say the remaining altcoins within the market, the crypto space as a whole. Now, if you want to look at the categories, we've already seen where you can find your categories at, but this would just be, this is kind of like a snapshot on what you want to look at. So like here you see we have like 8 coins, like 9 coins here. I wouldn't look at it, like me personally, if I'm looking to flip coins, I want to go with the strongest narrative at the time. So like coming up, like I said, I believe that it's going to be interoperability, play to earn. Some of these finance tokens I think would be a pretty strong narrative coming up. But here, this is where you're going to be able to find those coins. So say if you're like, okay, well, I think the insurance is going to be a pretty strong narrative. And, crypto insurance, a lot of people are losing their crypto. And a lot of people don't have, I say, like, valuable means to protect their cryptocurrency, or they may not know where to. So that could get a lot of attention as well. If you're feeling that way, you can go to crypto.com, or I'll say CoinMarketCap, and you'll actually be able to look up that category. I don't know why my computer's acting slow. Yeah, you'll be able to look up that category and that sector of the market by simply just typing in insurance. By typing in insurance, this will give you all of the insurance coins that are currently on exchanges right now. So you see right now, we only have 24 of them, but this is where you would find your narrative at. And then it's like you see here, tags, insurance, contract, Ethereum, like we said, the majority of the market.
Yeah, it definitely sounds very similar to the strategy that I used when I was trading penny stocks.
Right.
Yeah, using
so like like when EV was bumping off last year, we had a lot of EV companies going crazy. Like I think we had Solo, Blink, was it Blink Charging? And like Plug, and like those particular tickers were going crazy, kind of following Tesla. So like this would be like the same thing. Like, yeah, dude, you're definitely right on that, making that connection. But you see here, if you wanted to get in NXM, Nexus Metal, well, actually, they don't even have. So you would have to get this on their platform. But typically, if you're looking where to get these coins, which, like I said, a majority of them you're gonna find on Gate.io. I love Gate.io, but a majority of these, we'll just pick a random one. We'll say Kadena.
Gate.io.
Yeah, Gate.io. It's Gate.io. And it's like a red app. You're gonna need an authenticator for it though. So if you don't have one, definitely I
Oh
would
yeah,
go
I
with
have
like,
authenticator.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
You
here,
say it's gate.io.
yeah, it's printed right here.
Oh,
Gate.io.
okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you have Gate.io. You can get this on KuCoin. Like I said, you're gonna find your more speculative plays on these two platforms, KuCoin and Gate.io. You can get Kadena on Bittrex. Let's see if they have any more. Coin Metro, Trade Org, BKEX, Hotbit. Like these are all the places that you're gonna be able to find whatever coin that you may be looking for. Because like I said, a majority of them are not going to be on Coinbase and crypto.com, or I haven't used Gemini, so I couldn't speak on Gemini, but a majority of them wouldn't be on, the two major exchanges. Now we'll go to my personal favorite sectors. Like I said, interoperability, finance, lending and borrowing. This also coincides with DeFi 2.0, which I believe will be a pretty big narrative in months, if not years to come. So you have like the whole economic condition thing, like, people thinking that, well, I mean, just kind of some of the examples that we've seen. So like Canada, the truckers being like their bank accounts getting sanctioned on, and we
Right.
impose sanctions on Russia, and Ukraine, they're now having trouble getting their funds out of banks. Stuff like that could potentially push, and I believe is already pushing, people to cryptocurrency and kind of where they find their niche in it. So with
Right.
DeFi 2.0, it's somewhat like a credit system, but it's protocol on liquidity. And they make the money on their, is really technical to dive into. I couldn't dive into it all right now in one session, but basically they use like loans, like I wouldn't say flash loans, but they'll basically double your funds. So like say if Bitcoin just went crazy and we're like, okay, now we're looking for opportunity within, some of these micro to mid caps. We can go to a coin like Alchemix where they double your money for 10 days. As long as you make profit, you get to keep, I believe it's like like 60%, I think 60% of the loan. So they make money off of your loan regardless. Now, if you lose it, I believe that you lose your principal investment as well. So the money that so that's kind of like the trick on it. But there is a lot of innovative companies within DeFi 2.0 trying to fine tune and, just make that more of an efficient credit like process, I'll say. But so you have finance, lending and borrowing, games and play to earn are strong narratives right now with the metaverse and NFTs. And then you have proof of stake, which, like I said, I believe when Ethereum drops their protocol, the 2.0 protocol, you're going to have a lot of proof of stake narratives, a lot of people trying to copy proof of stake. And we'll go over some of those plays as well. But this is where you're going to look at, or this is how you're going to be able to identify when it might be a good time to hunt these narratives. So when Bitcoin makes this initial rally, typically, and I'll show you some examples here, but typically you're going to have a good amount of time to start picking out your narratives and looking at, okay, where do I want to invest my money into? So typically when Bitcoin has this initial pullback, its first retracement, whether it's going to go higher or be stagnant, like you see here, we did. This was the most recent pump that we had on Bitcoin. But if it's going to go higher or be stagnant, it may even come down. But typically when you get a pump in Bitcoin, you're going to have some type of action in these altcoins.
The smaller ones, yeah.
Right. So it's kind of like a wave, like, it's a wave. But like I would say a majority of the things that we've been trading have received no less than like a 2x on your
the entire investment on principal investment, like no less than the 2x. Like we've been able to, do pretty well with these altcoins. But you want to look in the highest probability sectors with the Bitcoin outbreak. And within these sectors and these tokens, you want them to have great tokenomics, good open interest. You can equate that to popularity of a coin. So good open interest and great efficient price points. Like you don't want to be spending, say, $1,000 on a speculative asset coin just to hold one. Like that's, I mean, it's, it's just really high risk. So you want to spend the least amount of money as possible. But that's just kind of how we looking at them. Like we're not really trying to invest. Well, I haven't been investing with the exception of a couple coins like Moon River, GameFi is another one, Remark is another one. Like with a couple exceptions, you don't really want to invest in coins that are more than like $5. Because if you lose, you just want to be able to cut your loss and it'd be cool. Like you don't want to take a substantial loss on, essentially gambling. Like you would essentially call this gambling, but you don't want to take a massive loss on that. So you see in October of 2021, on the first of the month, we had our first pump on Bitcoin. Now, what the strongest, most recent narrative was of course Metaverse. As you know, around this time, Facebook changed their name to Meta, or they were starting to tell people that they were going to be changing their name to Meta. I believe like literally on this weekend, Facebook announced like they had that Metaverse commercial. I don't know if you've seen it, but they had like a Metaverse commercial and they had an interview with Mark Zuckerberg in the Metaverse. Did you see that?
I think I did.
So
I think I saw it online.
Yeah, so like that was all around this weekend. And this was October 1st, like I said, when we took that initial pump. Now, if you look at Bitcoin made, I believe this was like it jumped from like 29 to 69. So this was like a 2x gain on Bitcoin. But once we got that first substantial retracement, you see that Sandbox, a popular metaverse token. And like I said, this is October 1st. This is all around the same time. It was chilling. Bitcoin went crazy and Sandbox was chilling for almost a month. And then later on into October, this was that weekend that I was telling you about, that me and Darius were able to 5x investment on multiple coins. We had that initial pullback. I think it was at like 67 cents or something like that. It had pulled back to like 67 cents. We were able to load up, and then this made like a 7x just off the strength of the narrative.
Yeah.
Just kind of like connecting that narrative. This made a 7x. Along with like Decentraland didn't go as crazy, but Decentraland, I believe, was like a 3-4x. We had PYR, Vulcan Forge. Vulcan Forge was a 10x. So that went from $5 to $10. But that's all off of just playing the narrative and investing in the narrative. So we seen it again in the summertime of last year, late summer of last year. Bitcoin had a substantial pump. You see here on July 1st, this is where we were at on AVAX, which AVAX, I think, eventually ran to like 150. Solana went up to like 200, as you know, but Solana was a part of this, initial pump as well. But this was in the latter part of the summer last year, and I would call that the L2 pump. So the recent pump that we had was the Metaverse pump. The pump before that was the layer 2 solution pump. So that was your Polygon, your Solana, your Luna, Terra Luna, AVAX, of course. That's when we were seeing these pumps. So basically we had AVAX that was chilling at about $10, and off the hip, we made like a 8x gain here. I wasn't able to invest in AVAX. I didn't know about it. But this was definitely, a play that you could call like, within the narrative and everything is fitting as far as tokenomics. I think they only have like 400 million coins. But it's a layer 2. So essentially layer 2s are just Ethereum killers. That's the narrative. It's like, okay, this can maybe replace Ethereum one day. That's how people look at these coins. Now we had our DeFi pump in the end of last year, or in the end of 2022. This was the DeFi pump, of course, the first initial pump on Bitcoin. So this was one of the more violent altcoin pumps because everything had already been chilling from the previous bear market. So this was a pretty easy time to make money. A lot of narratives pumped during this time. But as you see here, the 21st of December in 2020 is when we started this leg up. We were able to go from what I think it was like 17,000 here all the way up to about 63, 64 on Bitcoin. And you just kind of see how this trickled throughout the market. Uniswap, everything that was DeFi related. So Uniswap, Chainlink, Polkadot, Pancake Swap, that was another one. Like anything that was DeFi related,
Yeah.
really enjoyed the pump of this particular time. So we had Uniswap down at $3, and we made gains all the way up to 45 here. I had caught some of the Uniswap play, but I wasn't in at $3. I think I got in at like 17 and I exited around like 30. But I didn't catch the full extent of this play because I wasn't really hip to, what was going on as far as the tokenomics and everything like that. But this is one of those narrative plays that I was able to catch the full extent of. This is one of the first plays. And as you see, we were around this we were around the 21st of December when we started this liftoff on Ethereum and Bitcoin. This is the same time period. So like we said, everything that was DeFi related was going absolutely berserk during this time. And what I was liking about the Ethereum Classic play is that it was somewhat of a spinoff of like Bitcoin Cash. So in 2017, Bitcoin Cash was kind of like when Bitcoin was going crazy, Bitcoin Cash was going crazy. So I was thinking, okay, this might be Ethereum's version, of Bitcoin Cash. I think it was in like the top 100 coins. So, it had some good traction within the space. And I was like, you know what, I'll throw I think I got like 20. I think I got like 20 Ethereum Classic. And I remember I was at work. I was at work, man. And it went from, I think it was you see it here. It was around like 10. It had doubled to that 20. I sold half of my position in because I think at that point I had made like a 4X. So at that point I was like, all right, cool. I'll go ahead and pull out of that. I pulled half of my position. I left some to run. And then I was at work that one day when it was just going absolutely insane. So like you see, we were able to hit around $50.
Yeah.
And then we just completely doubled after. And I believe we had equal highs here from the previous cycle that was around this area. But we just completely doubled here on Ethereum Classic, eventually touching almost $200. I was out of the play when this happened because I honestly didn't see this happen. I didn't know that it could really get this ignorant. But that narrative, definitely stuck. Everybody was talking about Ethereum during this weekend. So the narrative definitely stuck as far as the tokenomics and everything were concerned. But this was another one of those community, narrative type plays, which is Shiba. I'm sure you're hip to Shiba.
Oh, yeah.
But Shiba was at like 0.00005 or it was something like that.
Yeah.
I was loading up on Shiba. I saw the community was crazy. So I was loading up on Shiba. Shiba pump, it went crazy. As you see here, we made equal highs, relative equal highs. We cut back into those equal highs. Well, we cut back, I would say within the gap of that. And here I wasn't even looking at gaps. I was just holding this. I didn't even know. But I knew that we wanted to take out these equal highs. I didn't know if it was going to be sooner or later, but I was like, you know what, I'll hold my investment. I think I took maybe a third off the table and I was like, I'll hold, the remainder of my investment. And then we doubled from these equal highs. So this is also a strategy that people use. Like once we do make a new high or once we match an old high on a particular coin, people will go into it because oftentimes they will double up if there's a strong enough narrative, as we did here with Shiba. I think the last day that it was pumping, my mom was actually getting married. So my mom was like, and she was on me this weekend because I was just on my phone and stuff. She was like, put your phone down, pay attention. But yeah, like that was a pretty good weekend. And I would just put that in the realm of the structural. So the chart looked good, and then we had the narrative that was good as well. And then if we want to look at my personal favorite mania plays, so what I'm looking at to come is going to be Limpo, which is extremely price efficient. It's not even a penny yet. The tokenomics look smooth. And basically this is already a fully functioning NFT platform for sports cards. And it's very low. I think it's ranked like 1300. Like it's extremely lame right now. Nobody's paying attention to it. And of course, we're in a down period of this crypto cycle. I could easily see that touching $1. I think, and like we said, we want to take minimum money and throw it at these protocols. So we're not really trying to get into anything too pricey. But here, I honestly think that we could touch at least 50 cents here. Because I think the previous high that we have on this coin is around like 20, might be like 22, I believe. I think that we can definitely make a new high on this with the current narrative that we have surrounding the metaverse and NFTs and things of that nature. And then Moon River, of course, the interoperability aspect of it. And then GameFi, which is a gaming studio. So they're going to be heavily involved with the metaverse as well. I would rather invest in the gaming studios and gaming guilds than games themselves, because games can flop, but studios and guilds and things of that nature that are actually producing the games, I believe will be here to stay in months, if not years to come. And then Mina is another one of my favorites. I've been in this play for a while. It's very price efficient. This is a proof of stake protocol. So basically, this is something that I think will enjoy that narrative pump with Ethereum. So this is why I'm in this play. I like the narrative on it, proof of stake, cool, whatever. And they're also trying to be the world's lightest blockchain. So they're actually introducing a new aspect to crypto, which is zero knowledge proof. So basically, instead of going back and looking at all the individual transactions that have happened within, or all the individual transactions and forks that have happened within a particular protocol, what Mina does is it basically just, you got to look at it like it takes a snapshot of the recent transactions and forks that have been made within a protocol. And then that's it. Like, it's just basically like a snapshot. So it's just kind of like a screenshot of the history. And it's able to do that time and time again. So it makes the protocol and the history of the protocol, or at least what it aims to make the history of the protocol, is a lot more efficient, less cloudy, easier to read, stuff like that. So you have your Alchemix. That was that lending protocol that I was telling you about. DeFi 2.0, I think, will have a very strong narrative once it hits mainstream. And this is in a significant negative return on investment right now. So it's definitely in the dumpster, something that I would be looking at. And if we don't pump anytime soon, this is something that I'll probably continue to add. As well as Moon River. I would probably continue to add those two.
Gotcha.
And then Remark, that's an NFT platform. I believe that it's price efficient for the current supply that it has. So there's only 9 million of these coins. All of them have been released. So you're not going to see the price dropping because they're releasing tokens or anything like that. You're not going to see that. And like I said, they have a limited supply of tokens in general. So this is at, I believe, 16, like $15 or $16 right now. So I would definitely call this price efficient for what it is. And like we said, it's a strong narrative being an NFT platform. I definitely like this play for the short as well as, potentially long term. And just to highlight really what we're looking at, mid to micro caps with a strong narrative, few coins left to be released, if any at all. And we want the circulating supply to be less than 50 million coins, the less being the better. But that's basically just like, I know it went a little bit longer than 20 minutes, but that's just the basis of what we're looking at when we're trying to find these flips. But the main thing that I'm looking at right now and anticipating, now it may not come with all of the economic conditions that are currently going on, but if it does, man, I think that this is going to be extremely ignorant, and it's going to be a very long period of positive action for altcoins and cryptocurrency, just because we do have that lengthening cycle. And of course, the higher crypto goes, the more people that are going to be intrigued, the more people that are going to come to the space to be dumped on eventually. But that's just kind of how I'm looking at where we currently are within the market. I think there's definitely still opportunity. But I'm not me personally, I'm not really being too aggressive right now. But I'm definitely having some skin in the game in case this mania phase does come to fruition.
Yeah, that's really what I'm trying to do as well, is really put some skin in the game when it comes to the crypto world. So I basically did like, of course, I have Bitcoin, and then I purchased a bunch of tokens that relate to the NFT world to get into that scene. And I figured, you know what, I'll sit on those coins and I'll add them as, you know, as I, because I'm looking at the whole crypto space as a long-term, like next like 10, 15, 20 years. Like
Definitely.
I'm not trying to like trade around, because I spend so, like I said, I spend the majority of my time on the currencies.
Right.
And I've learned over the years to find what you're good at. And not saying that don't look at other stuff, but find what you're good at and stick to it, because you really only have so much mental capital, you know, each day. And so I find that for me, you know, I have an overall portfolio of like stocks and real estate and, you know, crypto and currencies and crypto. But where I really spend the majority of my time is in the currency world. And that world might be coming to an end. You know, we might be end up going completely over to crypto at some point. So that's why I'm trying to like,
Looking at that ruble.
oh, I know, right? You know, I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn the new platforms. Like I look at Bitcoin and Ethereum the same way I look at the Dow and the S&P 500. You know, it's a very similar behavior, because, you know, as Bitcoin gets destroyed, all the other coins get destroyed. When Bitcoin does well, typically all the other coins do well.
Right.
Well, that's the same concept as if you look at the Dow and the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. Like when they're doing well, all the stocks are doing well. You literally can just throw a dart at any stock and buy it, and you're typically going to make money on it. So when I see this right here as an opportunity, because like you said, with all the correct criteria that you guys set up, you know, the cap, the market cap, and like how many coins are in circulation, like that whole process, like that's very familiar to me, because that's how I used to use a penny stock. So when the stock market as a whole would drop, I will be looking at those penny stocks to go long on them, which seems like the same thing that you're doing here, where it's like when Bitcoin and the big players like Ethereum and all those like drop, you look for the opportunities on the newer micro caps to get in on. Okay,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Absolutely. But I think of as far as like the long run, I believe that Bitcoin will be here. So like I think about, and that's a conversation that me and Darius have a lot on what is actually going to be here for the long run, being that this is such an innovative space. And you think about the .com bubble, a lot of things that came into the .com bubble didn't come out of the .com bubble. So it's definitely as far as like the long term, you definitely have to do a substantial amount of research as far as what these tokens and protocols are building. And for example, perfect example, Ethereum, it seems like it's locked in right now as, you know, that leading layer 2 solution. It seems like it would be locked in, but you have a potential you have a sector full of potential Ethereum killers people trying to do what Ethereum is doing, but better and more efficiently. So that always threatens Ethereum. And then as well as Bitcoin, you have to think about why Bitcoin was even created. Bitcoin was created for the privacy factor. Being that it's you know, it's a sovereign asset. It's scarce, of course. So you think about Bitcoin, it already failed the privacy you know, factor. Like it's already been cracked. People can already go in there and look at all of the transactions. Like there's no privacy to Bitcoin at this particular period of time. But you do have, like when it comes down to narratives, you do have privacy coins. So you have like Zcash, you have Monero, which is built exactly like Bitcoin, and people can't crack the code of it. Like you can't find the transaction history on Monero. So that actually does give you that security that people were originally interested in Bitcoin for. So I'm not saying that Bitcoin can be replaced or Ethereum will be replaced, but I think that it's definitely like you said, like I mean, this I think it's a very high maintenance space and a very still speculative space, even though it does seem like, yeah, we will be doing this for the next 20, 30, you know, maybe 40, 50 years. It is still a speculative space that requires a lot of maintenance and definitely a lot of attention.
Yeah.
You know, what you're investing in and what these potential protocols are trying to achieve. And like ICP, I don't know if you've heard, not ICT, but ICP, that's called Internet Computer Protocol.
Yeah.
And you do coding, correct?
No, not primarily. I went to school for coding, but never
So,
actually got the, yeah.
so do you know the current, like, the current computer protocol as far as like the coding?
No,
I think it's like
Python. You talking about the actual coding platform that they're using,
not the coding platform. It's like a
or the actual language? I mean,
yeah, the language. Yeah, that would be the terminology. So like the language for the current internet computer protocol, it's a cryptocurrency called ICP. It's currently working to replace the current protocol that we have and make it fully decentralized. And that's
oh yeah, the current is what HTML is what they use to.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they're trying to make it like completely centralized. And in that way, I believe the entire crypto space would be dependent on this particular protocol. So I
Gotcha.
believe that well, if it of course achieves what you know it's trying to do. But I think that the way that people look at Ethereum now, Ethereum is great for the crypto space, but as
Yeah.
decentralization as a whole, so like as far as like the internet, potentially the metaverse, NFTs and all that, Ethereum is still on the old internet. So it's not really not number one is not as decentralized as everybody perceives it to be, but it's not really innovative in that sense because it's doing something new on an old platform or an old
Yeah.
protocol, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think that ICP is definitely something to look into. Like I think that's a long-term play. I don't
Yeah,
really
that's what
flip
I
it.
wrote. Yeah, I wrote that one down.
Yeah, that's a good one. Like I would look into that one. They put
And
out a
what's
lot
it
of
stand for?
content.
Internet.
Internet Computer Protocol. Yeah, Internet Computer Protocol. They have a lot of interesting stuff going on. The developer is really cool.
Dude, there's so much stuff going on. It's like it make your
It's
head
so much
spin.
stuff going on, dude.
It's like that's why I say, dude, you got to just find something that you're really good at and just do that, and don't put your head in the sand to all the other stuff. Like study and learn about it, but like there's so much stuff. You only have so much bandwidth that you can take in. So I got a 12:30 coming up here. I'm gonna have to hop off, but I appreciate you, man, sharing with me like all of this, man. I definitely want to know more. I've taken some notes down here to try to start my own process based on what you've given me. If you can like, share the video with me, the recording, I'll go back over and like continue studying some more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
But, man,
But I
I
hope that we
appreciate
get a chance to actually do some of these flips soon. I hope that we get a chance because it's very exciting and quick when they happen. So I definitely
Yeah.
hope that we get a chance to do that.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Let's do it.
Most definitely. Most definitely. But yeah, I'll go ahead and send it to you. How did you send it to me when you sent it?
I just sent you a link in Google, I think it was. Like I sent the video in Google and in my Gmail, and it said that the file was too big, that it was going to create a link. And so I
Okay.
just linked you to my
But it'll save in my files though, or will it save
yeah,
in the
it's in your file. So
all right.
basically once you stop the recording, it'll compose, I think is what it does, but it'll
Okay.
start working
All right,
to
cool.
get it all saved and packaged up.
All right, cool. Yes.
So
Yeah,
all
I'll
right,
go ahead
man.
and I'll email it to you. Just shoot me your email. Well, no, I have it already. I'll go ahead and email it to you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll talk to you on Sunday then.
Okay, cool, man.
All
Have a
right,
good
man.
day.
Yeah, you too.